one.
I'll take my glasses off if you want to count me as a person.
Alright, you're good to go. Start. You better hurry because I don't know how long I can hold this camera up here. It's kind of heavy.
Hi, my name is Hannah Hannon, and I'm speaking to you today in order to convince you to sign a petition that goes to the Kentucky Governor Beshear in order to ask him to pass legislation to stop or limit mountaintop removal as a form of coal mining in eastern Kentucky. Mountaintop removal is a relatively new type of coal mining that began in the Appalachian Mountains in the 1970s as an extension or a variation on conventional strip mining techniques. Mountaintop removal is occurring in West Virginia, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Coal companies are in favor of mountaintop removal as a form of coal mining because it allows for near complete removal of a coal seam in a mountain with far fewer miners needed. So far fewer costs as far as man hours as compared to conventional mining. The U.S. EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, defines mountaintop removal as follows. Mountaintop removal and valley fill is a mining process where the tops of mountains are completely removed, exposing entire seams of coal. Mountaintop removal can involve removing 500 or more feet of the summit of a mountain in order to get at buried seams of coal. The earth removed from those mountaintops is then dumped in the neighboring valleys. There are 6 major components in the mountaintop removal process. First, we begin with clearing the mountaintop of all topsoil and the vegetation. So the trees, plants, and everything else growing on the top of the mountain has to be removed. And because of the fact that coal companies are often responding to short-term fluctuations in the prices of coal, this is an urgent process. And because of the time constraints, those trees and that valuable topsoil, instead of being used for commercial processes, is often just dumped in the valleys nearby. So instead of sending those trees to a lumber yard to be used and recycled back into the economy, they're just dumped into neighboring streams. This is illegal, but because of several loopholes in the legislation, part of the things that your petition would go to help in the legislation, these loopholes allow this dumping into local streams and valleys. The second component of mountaintop removal is blasting. So once the topsoil and the vegetation is cleared from the top of the mountain, then millions of pounds of dynamite is used to blast into the heart of the mountain to get at the coal. This can send boulder-sized, what's called fly rock, out into neighbors' yards, homes, foundations, and roads are cracked nearby because of the strength of the blasts. So that causes structural damage to homes and buildings, and also can crack wells, water pipes, sewer lines, and contaminate drinking water, leaving local communities with no other options. The third step in the mountaintop removal coal mining process is digging. This involves a machine used to remove tons of soil and debris with a bucket large enough to hold 24 compact cars, and this machine stands 22 stories tall. Now, this machine costs upwards of $100 million, but because of the hundreds of jobs of miners that are eliminated, it's worth it for the coal companies. The fourth step in the process is dumping of the waste. So after the mountain is blasted apart, the rest of the waste is dumped into nearby valleys and streams, just like the topsoil and vegetation was, which is, again, illegal and ruins water quality and the health of the streams and local ecology. According to the EPA, more than 1,000 miles of Appalachian streams have been buried as of 2001. The fifth step in the coal mining process is processing, which means the coal has to be washed and treated before it's ready to be used, loaded onto trains and sent out. So this process leaves coal slurry or coal sludge as a byproduct of the washing process, and this is highly toxic material. This contains as well as the water and coal dust, contains toxic chemicals such as arsenic, mercury, lead, copper, and chromium, all of which serve to further contaminate local water supply and damage local ecology. The impoundments used to attempt to contain this coal sludge or slurry are very unstable, again because of the speed of the process in which this coal mining is attempted. So they're very unstable, they fail often, and that leads again to further dangerous contamination of nearby water supplies for local plants as well as humans. The last step in the mountaintop removal coal mining process is called reclamation. So the coal companies use this in order to try and convince nearby residents that they do try to stabilize the area after they've removed the coal seam. Unfortunately, the laws are so loose on this reclamation process that often little more is done besides spraying grass seed on the mountain that's been completely devastated. So in conclusion, we've gone over the 6 steps of mountaintop removal as a form of coal mining. I've explained the dangers of this process and further encourage you to contact Governor Beshear signing a petition, which you can access on ilovemountains.com, that goes to Governor Beshear to ask him to limit this mountaintop removal as a form of coal mining. Thank you.